Appreciate it, fam. Damn. 5 minutes go by quick. I'm gonna wait for 2 seconds in that thing. Got a new what's going on, family? Today's lab is very similar to the last lab, except what are we adding? We're doing VTP today, virtual trunking protocol, DTP, a little bit of DTP. We're playing with some spanning tree again. Y'all know that's my favorite subject. Not. Oh man, y'all know I really did not plan on streaming today either, man. Y'all know I know on my banner I said I'm a stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't have the camera there, do I? Y'all give me a second, man. Just discombobulated. Just discombobulated today. Let's see what we got on the menu. So I powered all my switches. It's the same exact topology as the last lab, right? What we did on, I believe that was Monday. Go ahead and cable up 4 switches just like this, right? We're gonna have the distribution layer up top right here, right? 2 distribution layer switches. Say that 5 times in a row. And then 2 access layer switches at the bottom, just like this, right? And then obviously we want to cable them up just like this right here. Like I said, I cabled them up from the last lab. I did not even touch the mugs, but I do have to delete some of the stuff that it's on it. So, if you're using a virtual simulator or emulator, like GNS3 or Packet Tracer or anything like that, you probably can't do Packet Tracer on this lab on Packet Tracer, but you should be able to do it on GNS3 or even G. Wars7498 said what do you think about starting at the help desk to start your IT career? I have mixed feelings about this. Now, I did start my career not necessarily in help desk. I started my career as a PC technician. Now, I wouldn't say I had a leg up, but I was working at the police department as a 911 dispatcher. So I was already working there, and then I was going to school at the same time. So once I finished school, you know, got my bachelor's degree in management information systems, they had an opening for a PC technician. And then I applied for the job. I think I went against like maybe 2 other people, and I just had gotten a job. So I was able to start my career that way. If you can't land anything else, it depends on what your ultimate goal is. If you're trying to get into like become a network engineer, which I'm pretty sure that's what you're trying to be, or some kind of network administrator watching this channel, then that's your ultimate goal. But if you can try to land that job at the beginning, try, but it'd be very difficult. If you could start out as a help desk like technician, or help desk like service desk analyst or something like that, then yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just do not get stuck at that job, because it is very easy to just get comfortable and be like, yo, this is a chill job, especially like if you work at night or something like that. You're like, this job is chill. I could just do this job, man. This job's so easy, man. It pays decent money, but it don't really pay that great compared to, you know, the upper level, like senior level jobs and stuff like that. So if you could start your career in that, then yeah, I would suggest it, because you get a little bit of, you can get a little bit of pretty much of everything, right? You're pretty much the front line for IT. So you get all the calls, and complaints for break fix issues, right? If it's something you can't, you know, resolve at your end, then you would escalate it, obviously. So yeah, if you could start your career at help desk, yeah, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if you could skip that level, try, you know. But it will usually take something like for you to know somebody, and you know what they say about, you know, getting a job. It's usually about who you know and not what you know. So, but if you could skip the help desk level, try to do so. But if that is the only opportunities you have, then yeah, go for it. We got Sam Rocky in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and, let me see. I should be able to remote into these bad boys. And let me delete flash .dat. Yes, yes. I might have to reload my switches real quick. Again, I'm using hardware, so never mind me, right? I don't know. Is he not powering on? What's going on here, buddy? Wake up, buddy. I have another switch right here that's not even... I gotta check to see what's going on with that one. Over config mode. So again, I'm gonna... oh, gotta get it out of that. Yeah, I really did not plan on streaming today, man. I sat there and looked at the lab. I just was like, man, I don't even feel prepared. But I said, you know what, let me just jump into it because you guys hold me accountable. And I appreciate you guys for rocking with me, man, for real. I thought I powered this guy on. I guess he was not powered on. Don't look like he was. Nope. Switch 2 was not powered on. So I'm powering it on right now. And let me see. I hope that... Let's see. Flew fast. We got Creed 9 in the building. Backbone uplink. Okay. I'm assuming that's one of the features that we're going to have to use here. Like I said, I did not do any kind of reviewing. I tried to read a chapter earlier today, man. I was just busy at work and stuff, man. What'd I do at work today? Basically, we had a 9300 switch that I had to build a virtual port channel. If you know anything about virtual port channels, I guess while these guys are reloading, I can explain that. It's kind of like port channels. It is a port channel, but it causes... So let's say we had a switch like this, right? And we have two... Basically, this is how it is at this one part of the topology at my work is, right? So this is a Nexus, I believe that was a 7K switch. I can't even remember. 7K switch, and then another 7K switch here, right? And basically, I have a one uplink. It was a 10 gig uplink going to that one, and a 10 gig uplink going to that one. These, obviously, they have these two right here have what's called a virtual port channel between the two. Right, a VPC, right, which this is not in the Encore exam or anything like that. They don't. This is more of data center stuff, right? So there's a virtual port channel between these two right here. Now there's one physical link going this way and a physical link going this way, right? Now the thing with these two links here, they're each port channels on this end, right? This is a port channel. I'd say port channel 1. These two actually are bundled into one port channel right here. Actually, how do I do that? You got to do it like this. These two are bundled into one port channel, just like this, right? And because of that, they're actually a virtual port channel on the Nexus end. So once you see a virtual port channel like that, this switch right here, which was just an access layer switch, right? It was a 9300. This virtual port channel causes this switch to look like it's one switch right here. And that's basically what I was building at work today. So 2 uplinks to these 2 switches, which already have a VPC like this right here, right? And then, yeah, build a port channel there, build a port channel there. That causes these 2 physical 7K Nexus switches to look like it's one switch. And that's called a virtual port channel. So that's what I was working with today. Did not have any real downtime to really study and stuff like that. So, man, I guess studying for the CCNP is going to be a lot different, right? Because when I was doing the CCNA topics, I was just like, oh, I know how to do this stuff already, right? And just press record, and I'm sitting here and just start talking about it, right? And it just seemed a little easier, man. But these topics are a bit harder. Let me see. Let me look at the VLAN for this switch while these guys are rebooting. So VLAN brief. No, so I definitely got to reload this bad boy. This guy got to reload. No, let me put him. Let me fix his. It's something he got to fix. This second one right here. Line console 0. logging synchronous or privilege level 15. Real quick, y'all. Then we'll look at maybe some current events that occurred. Deleted that one. Reload. No. And then delete. This one is still booting up, I think. He's reloading. He's booting up. Did I reload him? Reload. And this guy reloading. Okay, I reloaded. Anywho, what are you guys using? Are you using GNS3 not packet tracer? You can't use packet trace for this lab, man. You cannot use packet trace for this lab. Just like Creed 9 was mentioning, backbone uplink, I don't think that feature is supported in packet tracer. So when creating VPCs in Nexus, do we have to tell the port to be non-routable? You can create a layer 3 port channel, actually. So the way I did it at work, though, was so remember I said I had these switches right here. I had the Nexus here, a Nexus here, and then I had the 9300 switch here. What he said, you wanted to know if they were non-routable. So I had a layer 2 port channel going this way, a layer 2 port channel going that way, and then these two, obviously these were Nexuses, right? So NX, I know that's a sloppy little N there, but this already had a virtual port channel between the two, right? VPC, right? And then these layer 2 port channels, I just had to make them trunks. That's all they were. So this was layer 2. That was layer 2. They did not have any IP addressing. Only IP addressing I had was a management IP address for this switch right here. Then he had his default gateway, which will be this Nexus right here, which in his eyes looked like it's one switch right here. So, and then that will become his default gateway. This guy right here is going to be his default gateway. So, and then obviously, like I said, he has a virtual port channel because of that between the two. So I know there's some sloppy drawing right there. My bad about that, y'all. But let's see, can we erase all this? Good. So I still got these two loading up. Let's see, I got this one loading up. So VLAN, I'll just delete this VLAN right here. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so 100, 200, comma. No, can't do that either. Bastard. All right, 200. All right. So. All right. So. Paul Galley. Shout out to Paul. He said, "Oh, do they default to layer 2 non-routable? Do they default to that?" It's a good question. I think so. Yes, they do default. If you don't add any IP addressing and you don't put no switch port, that would make it layer 3. So to make it layer 3, you would have to put the keywords no switch port on the interface and then give it an IP address. Then it becomes a layer 3 routable port channel if you want to, right? But by default, it's on a switch, it's going to be a switch port. And also, it doesn't have any IP addressing, so therefore, it'll default to layer 2, just like you said. So, good question, man. But I'm gonna need y'all help on this one, man, because like I said, man, I don't remember too much about backbone, link fast, and uplink, and all this other shit. So, anyways, these guys are rebooted. I need to do some. What I gotta do? Switch 1, switch 2. Okay, yeah, I gotta change these guys' host names. So I know he said he switched 1. He said he switched 2. So then this guy should be. He said switch 1, but he's gonna be the access layer number. We're gonna mix these up. I can't even remember. Let me make sure though. Let me make sure. We got some ports that are blocking. Okay, it's the one that has some SFPs in it. So real quick, y'all, because I need to make sure. I hope you guys are using GNS3 or you got your, let's see, you got 2 ports and 1 is present. This is how I'm going to tell which one is which, because yes, I do have them physically labeled up, but there's only 1 present. So this is ALS1. This switch right here is ALS1. You know what? I'm going to do this because he's actually a switch. I'm going to call him switch 4, and then I'll change that later. Hostname SW4. He switched 4. Yes. And then right, and then this guy is actually, he should have 2 SFPs connected to it, right? Let's see. Yes, there's an SFP there, and there's an SFP there. So he's actually switch 4. But we're gonna change the host name. I'm just doing this so that way next time I power these bad boys on, and next time I'll actually be prepared for you guys, man. I am sorry, man. All right, so we got those guys good to go. Y'all have any questions or anything so far? I know we haven't got started yet, but again, we have distribution layer switch there, 1 and 2, and then the 2 access layer switches, ALS1 and ALS2. So switch 1 is actually DLS1. Host name I know y'all know how to do host names, right? DLS1. And then this guy should be DLS2. Figure terminal. Host name DLS2. Right? And then this guy should be, I say he was switch 4, but he's actually gonna be ALS1. There we go. So he's ALS1 right here. This guy's host name ALS1. And then this guy, his host name is ALS2. Okay. And I know it says router 6 and router 5 here, but I need to change that up because these are actually switches that we work with. It's just, you know, I got hardware and stuff. So task number 1, if you guys are just tuning in, we are labbing from this book called 101 Labs Cisco CCNP. This is the CCNP version of this book, right? Typically, I was doing some CCNA stuff. You should see a link on the description of this video. That's where we're using the lab. That's where you can get the lab guide from. It's an Amazon link, so I don't believe that's an affiliate link. So if y'all get it from there, then good for him. I don't get no commission or anything off of it anymore. I don't even think I'm promote that book anymore. But anyways, it is what it is. That is the book we're using, right? So task number 1 is, well, the objective of this lab is for us to understand basic VLAN, VTP, DTP, and STP. A lot of acronyms in the IT field. Let's see. Disable, task 1. Disable, there's 6 tasks for this lab, right? Yeah, 6 tasks. Task 1. Disable VTP on all switches. All switches should support the configuration, modification, and deletion of VLANs, right? So what's VTP? VTP is VLAN trunking protocol. It's a way for us to, like, let's say, I didn't show y'all, but let's say we created some VLANs on here, right? VLAN 500, or VLAN 50. We'll go 50 for now. VLAN 60 right here, right? Instead of having, and let's say I wanted this switch to have it, this switch to have it, and this switch to have it. Instead of doing 50 and 60 on each one like this, right? I could just make this guy a server, these guys clients, right? And then create 50 and 60 on this switch right here and have that propagate to these guys automatically. That's what VLAN trunking protocol is, right? So it's just a way of kind of getting rid of that administrative overhead of having to create VLANs on every single switch, having to touch them, right? Now, it can be dangerous because whoever has the highest revision, if they're all servers, you could potentially wipe VLANs on all of them, right? Depending on who is the master and has the highest revision of the database, right? So we do show VTP status. We'll see right now I am functioning in server mode, and by default they all operate in server mode. Well, that means we can create VLANs, we can modify them and delete them. But in the book, task 1, he said all switches should support that. They should support the configuration, modification of VLANs deletion of VLANs, but it says to disable VTP. So how do we do that? Well, to turn on VTP, you got to put them, you have to put them, there's 3 modes. We can have either server mode, client mode, transparent mode, and there's also off. Now, essentially, transparent is kind of a way of turning it off as well, because all the VLANs you create on there, they will be locally stored on here. They won't be passed on to anybody else or anything like that. That's why they call it transparent mode. So if he's also in transparent mode, then the VLAN that's created on here, it won't get passed on to this guy, and it won't get passed on to this guy. That information, if he's in transparent mode, even if he is in client mode, he's not going to get any information because these guys are transparent, right? So, but they told us to turn it off, disable VTP, right? So you can put it in transparent mode, which I think that's what the book did, but I'm going to turn it off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it off VTP altogether. The way we do that, go to config mode, we just say VTP mode, and these are the ways we can enable VTP, right? We can put it in client mode, which does not, so you can't create VLANs, you can't delete them or anything like that, but you can have that information passed on to you, right? This is the way, obviously, we turn off VTP. Server mode allows you to create, modify, and delete VLANs. Transparent, again, you can create, modify, and delete them, but it'll stay locally on your switch. So I'm going to use mode off. So now we turned off VTP for all the VLANs on this switch. We're going to do the same thing on the rest of these guys, right? So VTP mode off. I'll just copy and paste that bad boy. Do the same thing on all 4 switches, right? Go ahead and do the same thing. I hope you guys already, remember, we're only on task 1 right now, so you should easily get caught up if you're using any kind of emulation software or anything like that. Yeah, any questions or anything so far? We got Pepper Jack in the building. Pepper Jack got it correct. Yes, configure terminal, VTP mode, and then he said transparent. I'm gonna go with off for now, because he did say disable VTP. So, but yes, you can. Now, if we do, yes, we can still create VLANs and stuff like that. We can still modify and delete them when we do VTP mode off, right? So, either way, I think either way should work. Pre9 is doing it on a 2969 switch. I'm guessing you mean 2960 and not 2969, right? Pre9 also said, I changed GI 00014 to FA014. Okay. Yep. So, are you using hardware too? Let me know. So, yeah, that was task 1, right? Task 2, we only got 6 tasks. Task 2, configure trunking on the switches so that all ports are explicitly trunking, and DTP should never be used on any of these ports. Y'all remember what DTP is, right? Dynamic Trunking Protocol. So it's a way for us to, out the box, the switch will automatically form trunks with other switches, right? So let's say DLS, let's go to DLS1, right? So let's say, and as soon as we plug up this cable, right? This cable right here, as soon as you plug it up to that one and you leave it by default, bloop, they will be set up as an access port, right? But if we made this side a trunk and we left this one at default, it's set up to DTP is turned on, so that'll make this automatically form a trunk, right? That's fine and dandy, right? Makes our job easier, but that's just also dangerous because somebody can come in to our network closet if you don't have, good physical security and just form a trunk with any other switch that's in there if there's no port security, and then just get access to all of our VLANs and then just hack our network, right? We don't want that, so we want to turn off DTP. And he also said, what else did he say? He wants to turn off DTP and then configure trunking on the switches so that all ports are explicitly trunking. So basically, we're hard-coded as a trunk, right? So we're just going to put T's all over the place, right? We're going to make this a trunk. We're going to make this a trunk. We're going to make this a trunk, etc., etc., etc. So like if we go on DLS1, this will be explicitly trunking, but we don't want it to dynamically form a trunk. So let's do this. Let's go to the LS1. I'm going to go to these ports right here. FA07. I want it black, man. Come on, man. Fade to black. FA07, 09, and 011. Those 3 ports right there. Interface range. Now, I just learned about... I knew about the interface range command, but I didn't know you can do them like the ports separately. I thought they had to be in one contiguous block. Like you could do 7 through 9 or 7 through 20. Well, I didn't know you could do 7, 9, and 11. Y'all let me know if y'all knew you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. So FAST, right? 0/7. Sorry, 7, and then you say comma FAST. Right? Isn't that how you do it? Oh, he's 107. My bad. So 107. Then FAST 109, comma FAST 1011. Did y'all know y'all could do that? Don't lie to me. Let me know if y'all could do that. I knew you could do a range and a contiguous block of numbers, but I know you can do it separately like that. So what we want to do here is let's check to see what it is out the box, right? We do show. I didn't know this one either. DTP. Let's do this. Hold on. Let's get out of that mode. I know I showed it to y'all. Show. What is it? DTP? Yes, DTP. Forgot about that one. Show DTP. This is global. We want show DTP interface FA0/7. No, 107. My bad. My interfaces are different, right? Your interfaces might be different as well. Forgot about the DTP command until I saw it on Pluralsight earlier this week. I was just like, show DTP. Forgot about that, man. Right now it's in. Actually, you got to put it in the switch port command to see what it is. But this gives us detailed information about DTP. Right now, this lets us know DTP is enabled. He wants us to turn it off in the book, right? That's what he said. We got some statistics in there, a little bit too deep information there. But yeah, totally forgot about show DTP. So we want to disable that, right? How do we disable it? Remember? Do y'all remember? I want to do that range. Switch port. I believe it's non-negotiate, right? If I'm not mistaken. Y'all let me know if that's how you turn off. Okay, so here we go. Conflict between non-negotiate and dynamic status. And it also failed at FA07. So we got two things that messed us up here. We need to change it. Right now it's set to dynamic. We need to turn that off. So switch port. I don't think I can get. I might have to get out of that range mode. Let's see. Trunk. Not trunk. My bad. Let's see what you said. Let me catch up to y'all. Cree9's using hardware. That's what's up. You using 4 switches or what? I'm about to get 2 more switches and 2 more routers. Once you do hardware, it's like smoking crack. Man, listen, man. At first I was just like, why am I buying this old ass equipment? And I got this rack of equipment. They're just old, right? But like I said, man, a lot of these protocols are still used in networks today. We still use spanning tree. We still use dynamic trunking protocol. We still work with VLANs. So yes, this equipment is old, but I guarantee you, in any data center, you will find shit like this. You might not find a 3750 or whatever, or a 2960 like my man Cree9 over there, but the protocols, the software that is in them are still used in networks today. So yes, I agree. Joel said, I knew you could do that. Change the mode. Yes. So switch port mode is what you were saying, right? Yes, that's what it was. Switch port mode and then dynamic. But we need to do it a trunk and then turn off DTP. Right? That's what I think you were trying to say there. So mode trunk, can't do that, so we have to change the encapsulation. Jesus. Right now he is set to auto, so we got to change the encapsulation as well. Jesus, we've run into all kind of shit here. Jesus. All right, so switch port trunk. He didn't tell us what kind of encapsulation he wanted, right? Encapsulation .1Q. Now I'm gonna do switch port mode trunk, and now I'm gonna try to turn off DTP switch port non-negotiate. So now he is not negotiating. He also formed, I believe he probably also formed a trunk there because I did that. Let's see though. Switch port. Let's see, switch port. I'm sorry. What was the other thing? Show interfaces trunk. So it is trunking. All three of these guys are trunking, but they dynamically formed a trunk. So that formed a trunk. Yeah, this formed a trunk. This formed a trunk. This formed a trunk. But they formed trunks dynamically. We didn't want that, right? How do we verify that? Show DTP. And Joe, you did know that. Yeah, see, yeah, you're right. I didn't know that you could do that interface range command like that. He said mode trunk, then non-negotiate. PS. All right, appreciate that, and that's exactly what I did. But like you said, it formed the trunk dynamically. We don't want that. Show DTP interface FA07. My bad, 107 on mine. Not 104, 107 on mine. Typo. Fat Finger Squad in the building. And right here, does it still say? It still says I enabled it. Right? Which one did we do? So he's trunking. But I wanted to turn off DTP. This lets me know that DTP is enabled, right? When I do that. Even though I put switch port non-negotiate, right? Show run interface FA107. Yeah, I put switch port non-negotiate. Doesn't this right here mean that I turned off dynamic trunking protocol? But when I do show DTP, it says that it's enabled. Does that mean that DTP is still turned on? Y'all let me know. Here's another way we can check. Show interfaces FA107, and then you put the switch port keyword at the end, right? This lets us know what operational mode it's in. So it is a trunk. It's operating as a trunk. Here's the encapsulation, .1Q. .1Q is the encapsulation. Negotiation of trunking is off. This lets us know dynamic trunking protocol is off, if I'm not mistaken, right? That lets us know. So when we do that show DTP, does this let us know that DTP is turned off or on? What does that mean? That enabled right there. I don't know. Y'all let me know. We should look this up. Show DTP interface. Let's Google that. I'm gonna check it up real quick because I don't know what that means right there, man. That looks like to me that means that DTP is enabled. Let's see. How do I know if DTP is enabled? To determine the current DTP mode, issue the show DTP interface. Yes, okay, did that. Or links where trunking is not intended, DTP is turned off. Y'all let me know. Which one lets me know that DTP is really turned off? But I think that's it right there. And if we don't know, right, we also have the negotiation of trunking on. So when configuring dynamic auto, oh, come on, Renee Malnar. Yes. There we go. There are two ways to disable DTP negotiation. Configure the interface for access mode and use the switch port non-negotiate command on the interface, which is what we did. Shout out to NetworkLessons.com. I love that guy's website, man. I should go ahead and get me a trial. I always go in there and he says, you know, gives you this little trial button. As soon as you scroll down, he's like, nope, you need to be a member. I'm like, damn, I want to read the rest of this shit, man. But yeah, great website, NetworkLessons.com. Shout out to that. And there was our answer right there. Two ways to disable DTP negotiation. And that's what we did right there. The second option. So, but I wanted to know a show command that lets me know that it's off, other than show run that, right? So I want to know what that is right there. Does that mean that DTP is turned? What is enabled? What is enabled? Whatever. So let's go ahead and disable DTP here. So DTP, we want that turned off over here. Same thing here and same thing here. So I'm going to go to DLS2. Oh, actually, we got to go to these interfaces and do that, right? Because it's not a global command. So interface and that range don't look like it worked. Did it show? Let me do show run interface FA 109. Yeah, it didn't. That range command didn't work. Let's see. Let's try that again. Interface range FAST 109, comma FAST 1011. Switch port mode trunk. Jesus. Switch port trunk encapsulation .1Q. Switch port mode trunk, and then to turn off DTP is switch port non-negotiate, right? So now both of those interfaces should be, let's see, let's do a show run pipe section interface. Oh Jesus, I'm gonna just do a show run. Jesus, man. Y'all know I said stay away from the show run, but here I am using it, right? All right, so we said, okay, so it did work on those guys. It didn't work on 7 for some reason though. Oh, that's because I'm on DLS. What is this? DLS 2. 9 and 11. Good. I needed these commands also on 9 and 11 over here. That's what I meant to do. Show run interface FA 109 and 11. Okay, good. Okay, good. Those guys are good. So these guys are DTP's turned off there. I needed to turn off DTP right there, FA 107. So go to config mode, interface FA 107. Y'all with me so far? Yo, you guys watching from my kayak. This dude is watching from a kayak, man. What kind of adventurous shit is that, man? Be careful, man. I hope you got your life vest on and stuff like that. Be careful over there, man. But yeah, let us know what body of water are you in, man? That's crazy. This dude, we over here labbing and shit, and this dude is on his kayak, man. That's amazing. Glad you're having fun over there, man. I appreciate you for tuning in, though, man. Y'all check out my man Cole's Tech over there. He has a pretty decent networking channel himself. We're gonna paste these commands, bad boys, over here. So DTP is turned off here. We turned off DTP here. We need to do the same thing on these remaining interfaces. That one right there and there. So 09 and 07 on those two switches. And y'all see, look, these guys already have some interface, some trunks probably, right? Trunk. So interface is trunk. He's trunking. So like this is ALS1, right? He's trunking at FA09. Even though we didn't go in there. But notice this N right here. This N lets us know he created a trunk, but he negotiated. Because by default, remember, it's set to auto, and whatever the other side is, it's just going to be like, oh, you want to become a trunk? He's just going to passively become a trunk, and that's what happened there. That's why we have an N there. He negotiated with the other side and became a trunk. Who is the other side on ALS1's 109? So ALS1's 109 is right here. This automatically formed a trunk. We didn't want that to happen, right? Like I said, this could be dangerous. So it's kind of a security feature. It's a way of hardening our devices when we turn off DTP, right? So we need to go to FA09. Is that what I said? 09? Yes. Interface FA. Actually, let's do a range, right? Because we're going to do 07 and 09. So 07 should be trunking as well, isn't it? Let's see. Show interfaces trunk. Who's trunking? No, 07 is not trunking. So what happened with 07? Let's go on this side. Oh, let's see. Watch this. I need to go on this side right here, 07, to see what happened. Why didn't this become a trunk? If we turned off DTP there, so it shouldn't have become a trunk. But I'm just curious to see why it did not become a trunk. 07, we did trunk encapsulation, switchboard mode trunk, not negotiate. Is FA07 trunking? Show interfaces trunk. He is trunking, but probably because we did non-negotiate. So we did non-negotiate. That is why this side did not become a trunk right here. So let's go to that interface. We're going to do one at a time so we can see this happening, right? We're going to go to this interface right here and then make that a trunk. We got to manually do that, right? So global config mode, interface FAST107. We said switch port trunk encapsulation .1Q. We got to choose the encapsulation, right? Switch port mode trunk, and then it should come down and come back up, right? Become a trunk, I believe. Come on, 107. Switch port. Was it mode switch port non-negotiate, and then show interfaces trunk. Oh, I'm on the other side. I'm on the other one. I meant to do it on ALS1. Where's ALS1? There he is, right there. That's what I meant. That's probably why I wasn't even looking at that. So 09 here. That's why I wasn't even looking at that. So let's see, 07 and 09. That's what we need to look at. I was looking at the wrong switch. So let's see who's trunking now. And notice we got a blocked port. Show interfaces trunk. Let's see. Nobody's trunking on this switch. So that was my bad. So this one is not trunking and this one is not trunking. Why? Because DTP is turned off on these two switches right here. So DTP and DTP is turned off on that guy and off on that guy. So he should not be forming any trunk. Now we got to try to create a trunk on ALS1's 07 and 09, right? We'll do that one at a time. Configure terminal, interface FA10, he said 7, switch port trunk, encapsulation .1Q. Now depending on what version of iOS you're running, you probably don't have to do this switch port trunk encapsulation, especially if it's a newer switch. If it has a newer version of iOS, or if you're running, I don't know, one of the newer versions of iOS, you don't have to do this command right here because they got rid of ISL. So right now, .1Q is pretty much the open standard for trunk encapsulation. So that's why you ain't got to worry about this command no more. Now you just do switch port trunk and then you're good to go. Or switch port mode trunk rather. So now we do switch port mode trunk. That should make it bounce, right? There you go. Bounce that ass, bounce that ass. Now we got to do switch port mode, switch port non-negotiate, even though it's already a trunk. So we do a show interface trunk real quick. Show interfaces trunk. Remember when we did that last time, we didn't have anybody trunking, right? So now show interfaces trunk, and now FA107 is trunking. So now this side right here finally became a trunk. So I was looking at the wrong switch. My bad about that. Okay, so now we can do the same thing on this. We're going to make this become a trunk manually, right? So let's turn off DTP as well, though. Remember? Because we do show interfaces. What's that? FA107 switch port. We'll see that DTP is turned. It says negotiation of trunking is off, even though I didn't put switch port non-negotiate. Did I put switch port non-negotiate on there? Right, this lets us know right there. Negotiation of trunking. Right? That lets us know that it is what switch am I on? I'm on ALS1, right? ALS1 107. He said negotiation of trunking is off. I didn't put switch port non-negotiate though on there. Do show run interface FAST107. Oh, I did. I guess I did. Okay. So that's why it's off. What if we just turn it off real quick? I just want to turn it on real quick and see what happens real quick. This is what LabLabs is about, right? No switch port non-negotiate. Isn't that a double negative? Turn it off. Do show interfaces. So now the port is turned down. Came back up, right? Interface FAST107 switch port. He is still a trunk, but now negotiation of trunking is on. Right? So that is how we turn off and on DTP. Switch port non-negotiate. We need to remember that, right? So I wanted to turn it off, which was switch port non-negotiate. Let me do the same thing on the other guys. We're still on task 2. Right? FAST 109. We need to do that port in that interface right there. Cole said life jacket on for sure. All right, cool, man. We with you. We got, he is in at Lake Arlington in Texas. That's what's up, man. Got Paul Gahey in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. Probably the other side shut down. Oh, no, you know what it was, Joel? The other side, I was looking at the wrong switch. But I think if that's what you're referring to. So we need to make this side right here a trunk. This right here. FA109. So go to ALS1, interface FAST 109. We said switch port, trunk, encapsulation, .1Q. Remember yours, you might not have to do this part right there. Switch port mode trunk. That hard codes it as a trunk. And then switch port. So now it's going down. Coming back up. This should be a trunk now. Do show interfaces trunk. Right? We'll see it as a trunk. However, DTP is most likely turned on. Why? Because do show run interface FAST 109. And we'll see we don't have the switch port non-negotiate on there, right? So now we do show interfaces FAST 109 switch port, so interfaces FAST 109 switch port. We'll see that DTP is turned on. We want to turn it off, right? Because we are security experts here. Switch port non-negotiate. That should bring the trunk down. Bring the port trunk down. I guess not. I think when you do negotiate, then it brings it down and brings it back up. So I was wrong about that. All right, so now if we run that switch port command again, we'll see that it is turned off. Good. So this guy is good. This guy is good. We just need to worry about 107 and 109 on ALS2, and I'll run through that since y'all seen it already, right? So I'll go to ALS2, and notice we got some ports that are being blocked and stuff because of trunking and stuff, and then it came back up. I think it recovered somewhere. May not have. Who knows? Who cares? Interface range FAST 107, FAST 109. I really did not know that command, man. As long as I've known the interface range command, man. That's crazy. That's what labbing is all about, though. Switch port mode, switch port trunk, encapsulation, .1Q, switch port mode trunk, switch port non-negotiate, brings it back down, brings it back up, and now we should have two ports trunking, show interface trunk, show interfaces trunk, and we got those two interfaces trunking. Good to go. All right, that was task what, 2? Let me see. Yeah, that was task 2. Configure trunking on the switches on all ports so that they're explicitly trunking, and DTP should never be used on any of these ports. That was task 2. We got 6 tasks. Now we're on task 3, so we're halfway done. Y'all. Configure VLANs 100 and 200 on all switches, and use the default iOS VLAN names. So we don't have to, name them. It'll just say VLAN 0, 100, or whatever, and 200, right? And then he said, explicitly configure switch DLS1, which is this guy right here. That guy right there. With a priority of 8192. So it is elected root for both of these VLANs. Okay. So y'all know what the root bridge is, right? When it comes to the spanning tree protocol, right? We said, let me draw a little cloud for y'all. Every time, like, let's say this is the internet right here, right? I know this is an ugly little internet, nappy little headed internet looking there, right? This is the internet, right? He's connected to DLS2, right? And we have our PC right here, right? One of these switches, most likely it's going to be the distribution layer switch. One of these distribution layer switches will be considered the root bridge for our spanning tree protocol, right? It is like the center of the network when it comes to layer 2. We need to go to the root bridge before we go out to the internet. Basically, that's what the root bridge is, right? So he said to make this guy right here, I'm going to give him a crown. You drop this, king. you are the king of that network, right? Yeah, I like my little annotations, man. I know shit really corny and like, man, get to the point, man. Y'all know I like to draw and shit, man. Just like my daughter, man. Just be wasting paper and shit, right? He get a crown because he is the root bridge. He is the king of the network, right? Anytime we need to send traffic to the internet, right there, I made it a T. Now it's an I. We need to make sure we go through the root bridge before we leave the internet. That's what the root bridge is. That's the concept of it. All of the traffic needs to go there. It's considered the center of the network, right? He said to make that switch right there the root bridge for those VLANs. Now we can make different root bridges for different VLANs, right? We can make, we can make VLAN 69 there. I don't know why I picked that number. Maybe my head is in the gutter right now. But this right here would be the root bridge for VLAN 69. So anytime we send traffic through VLAN 69, guess what? It needs to go through this root bridge for VLAN 69 before it goes out to the internet. That's the concept of the root bridge, the center of a network. Again, we can have the center of network for different VLANs, right? So that's what we're doing here. But they wanted us to do it for VLANs 100 and 200 on DLS1. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's break down that task. Task 2 said, configure VLANs 100 and 200 on all switches. Use the default VLAN names. Y'all know how to do this already, right? I'm pretty sure you don't. I mean, you do. But if you don't, just follow along, right? VLAN 100 and 200. Let's see what we got so far. Do show VLAN brief, right? Hopefully I don't have no VLANs on here. We got these. These are the default VLANs, right? They wanted 100 and 200 and leave the default names. VLAN 100, VLAN 200, right? As soon as you get out, those VLANs should be created. We can check with what? Show VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. If I could type. Show VLAN brief. Berif. Y'all make sure y'all run me with that like button, man. So VLAN 100 and 200, right? And he said to leave the default names. Notice I didn't name it. It just gave him those names right there. So that's the default names. We got to do the same thing on all these other guys, right? VLANs 100 and 200. I guess when I get to going, I really did not feel like labbing today, man. I really didn't, y'all. Jesus, I don't know if it's because I'm intimidated by these topics or I'm just not motivated or what. I think maybe because my CCNA doesn't expire until like 2023, so I'm like, oh man, I got plenty of time, man. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, man. VLAN 200, right? Get out of that. And then 100 and 200 on this guy, right? VLAN 100, VLAN 200. Show our work, show VLAN brief. And we said leave the default names, right? 100 and 200 on all of them, right? Let's just double check. Show VLAN brief. My boss always says, verify your work when you're done. And then when you're done, run a show command to verify your work again. And then run another show command and verify it again. Verify, verify, verify. He always says. Show VLAN brief. VLAN 100 and 200. All right, so we're good to go. We created all the VLANs on all the switches. He also said, explicitly configure DLS1. Let's go to DLS1 so we don't make a mistake. With a priority of 8192, so it is elected root for both of these VLANs. Now y'all remember, if you remember your CCNA studies, right? A switch, we said that we're going to have the center of a network. One of these switches are going to be the root bridge. Well, this can be done automatically, or we can explicitly say who is the root bridge. So one of these guys is going to get this crown, right? You drop this, king. This right here. Bloop, bloop, bloop. He is the king of the network. And we're going to explicitly say, now there's 4 ways. I mean, I think there's, how do I say? 4 criteria that a switch must meet before it becomes a root bridge. Number 1 thing is the priority. Whoever has the lowest priority becomes a root bridge, right? Or bridge ID is what they call it. But they explicitly said for us to make this guy right here the root bridge. So we're going to give him the crown, right? DLS1. And he said to give him a priority. By default, let's see what it is right now. Show VLAN, show spanning tree VLAN 100. Who is the root bridge for that? Somebody else is. Typically, if he's the root bridge information, this is my root, bridge information for VLAN 100, and this is the root bridge. So because that it's different, Notice these MAC addresses are different. Somebody else is the root bridge. So whoever this switch is, this is the root bridge. He has a lower MAC address and priority at the same time. What y'all got to say? Just signed on my other account to add the like and the subscribe. Appreciate that, Joel. 12 people watching and only 8 likes. Yeah, man. Y'all hit me with that like button, man. Run me with that like. Run me my likes, man. Shit. Fat Finger Squad. Don't sleep on time. That's how I finished T-Shoot, route, and switch on the previous CCNP track. But I did it in 4 years, not within 3. Jesus Christ, Joel. Well, shout out to you for that, man. Hey, question. Is there a resource where we can find network tickets we can work through? Like a website with example tickets and PKA files? That was Atticus Paulson. Very good question, man. I like your thought process there, man. You want to be able to solve problems. There's tons of them out there, man. There was one called, I believe, Packet Tracer Network. Let me see. I have them in my favorites, actually. I'll put them in my links here, in the chat there, actually. Let's see. Free CCNA Workbook has one. Free. This guy, he actually has labs. It's not really, let's see. Let me go to workbooks, and then let's see, CCNA routing and switching. He has the workbook there. I'm just going to see. Yeah, it's not necessarily tickets, but it's a way to get some labbing done. And he gives you configure. Yes. So this is a good one. It's a pretty decent one right here. Free CCNA workbook. Now, are you talking about the CCNA level or CCNP level? That's one free CCNA workbook. And then just go to the workbooks section. There's another one has like free tickets and stuff like that. Like you said, this one is called. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Do I have that one twice? I guess I do. Delete that. I don't like it. I don't like that site that much. PacketTracerNetwork.com. This one's just like Packet Tracer and stuff. So let's see. He has a couple labs on here. I said he. I'm gonna send it to you right now. This has a couple labs. Joel says he got some labs. Yeah, sure, Joel. What's your website, man? Plug your website. Let us know what it is, man. But this is the actual link to the workbook for free CCNA workbook. So, bunch of free labs right there. I might go through those in a couple of streams too, man. But the book that we're using is in the description of this video here. It is from a book called 101 Labs Cisco CCNP. And it is authored by this guy named Paul Browning and co-authored by Farai Tafal. He's like a double CCIE, and you know, they have really good series of books, and they call them 101 Labs. All right, sick. Check these out. Yeah, man, check those out, man. And also, Joel has a website. You may or may not be able to plug it into the chat there, because I don't know how to go through there and allow a chat to go through or not. But if you want to spell it out, and then maybe I could type it out for you. Because I don't know if it'll block you automatically or what. So we said we wanted to make this guy the root bridge and give him a priority of 8192, right? To make him the root bridge. Right now my priority is what? 32868. That's why I'm not the root bridge. Somebody has a higher root bridge. What's the root bridge? I mean, the bridge ID is the combination of the MAC address and the priority. Right? The priority is also a combination of the priority and this VLAN ID number. So notice its priority is actually the root bridge, whoever the root bridge is. His priority is 32768 plus 100. That gives him the bridge ID of 32868. So we need to make myself the root bridge. Another way we can tell is if all of our ports are forwarding, and we have all not designated ports, but yeah, I believe all designated ports, then we know we're the root bridge. But it also tell you right there, it'll say this bridge is the root, which you'll see. So let's go ahead and make him the root bridge for both VLANs 100 and 200. We go to global config mode, conf t, if I could type, spanning tree, VLAN 100, and we say root. Remember last time in the last stream that we did a couple days ago, we set it at the root bridge by putting the keyword root primary, right? That made him the root bridge. Now we're actually typing in the priority to make him the root bridge. So root are actually priority, and then 8192, and that's pretty much it. So that makes him the VLAN. See, now he changes priority, right? Press enter. Now if we do a show VLAN, show span VLAN 100, we'll see that my priority is now 8292, even though I put 8191. Anybody know why? Because look, I said I put 8192, but now my priority is 8292. Why is that? Anybody know? Also, this lets us know this bridge is now the root. Remember how it looked like before when we did that? When we did show span VLAN 100? It said I have a cost to get somewhere. I mean, the cost is 19 to get to the root. Showed me my root port to get there. And my priority was 32868, right? Then we changed that. We said my priority is now going to be 8192. But it actually made me 8292, and then it made me the root bridge. Why is that? Joe got it correct. He said the bridge ID will be priority plus 100, which is, or plus the VLAN ID in this case, like he said. So it's actually, the priority is actually 8192 plus 100 for VLAN 100, which gives me 8292. So shout out to Joe for that answer. Atticus said, oh, sick, I found it. A tech blog / portfolio. So you're joelrivera.com. All right, so yeah, shout out to Joel's website. Well, we'll check that out, man. joelrivera.com, right? Is that what I said? joelrivera.com? Oh, I think I've been on this site before, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, man. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all check out Joel. I appreciate your help too, man. You got looks like you got a couple labs and stuff like that, man. Appreciate that, man. We'll definitely have to check this out, man. Y'all check out joelrivera.com. All right, so where else were we? So yeah, so like he said, it is the VLAN, it is the priority plus the VLAN ID, which is 100, gives us 8292, even though I set it to be 8192. So, and then now that made me the root bridge for VLAN 100. So we need to change, we need to do the same thing for VLAN 200. Who is the root bridge for VLAN 200? Show span VLAN 200. Is this bridge the root? No, because I have a cost to get there and also have a port to get there, right? And this is my root port, FA011. So was what am I, DLS1? Yes, I'm DLS1. So the root bridge, the root to get to there, to get to the root bridge, you got to go that way to the root bridge for VLAN 200, right? We don't want that because why? I dropped my crown. There he is right there. That makes me the root bridge. Let's make him the root bridge for VLAN 200. Global config mode. We said spanning tree, VLAN 200, priority 8192. And now let's see what it changes it to, right? Show span VLAN 200. What we got? All ports are now forwarding, which is an indicator. Another indicator is this right here. This bridge is the root. So now we have the root bridge for VLAN 200, and now my priority is 8392, even though I set it to be 8192. Again, it is the priority, so 8192, plus the VLAN ID 200. And some, I know I'm not great at math, but 8192 plus 200 is 8392. Y'all know how I am about my mental math, man. So that is the bridge ID, and we are now the root bridge for both VLANs 100 and 200. How we check? We do it again. Show span VLAN 200. This bridge is the root. Show span 100. This bridge is the root. Good to go. So that was task number. What task was that? That was task 3. We're still on task 3 because we elected him the root bridge, and then he also said, additionally, also explicitly configure switch DLS2 so it is elected the backup route for both VLANs. All right, now this one, we gave him the root bridge. This guy right here, right? We gave him the crown. Now we gonna make him kind of like the backup, just in case this guy dies, right? He will become the root bridge. So that's why we elect a backup. So we need to do the same thing, but how do we make it a backup? How do we make it? We gotta create the priority to be just a little bit higher, right? Or we could just do the secondary keyword like we did on our last stream. So let's go to DLS2 real quick. DLS2, right? We're gonna be on this guy right here, and we're gonna make him the backup root bridge, right? So he gonna have a crown also, but his crown just ain't gonna be as shiny, right? So he gonna have a little crown, right? And draw some little rubies and stuff for my daughter. Right, so he gonna get a little crown. I guess his crown gonna look a little prettier. And he gonna be the backup root bridge for VLANs 100 and 200, right? So we go to global config mode. We said spanning tree, VLAN 100. Now here's our options here. We could set the bridge priority or the root bridge, or change the route. Now we could just set the priority to be a little bit higher to be the backup, but I think I would rather use the secondary keyword and make him the secondary. That's what I'm going to do. We could also check the book. That's what I love about this book, is that there's a solution guide at the end to let you know how they did it, or if you don't know, you're stumped, then you could just check that way, right? So I'm going to do the root and then secondary. That should make him the backup root bridge, root secondary. So you notice, configure the switch as secondary root. That lets me know. We could probably do it with priority too, but now you got to change. You just got to be kind of funky with it, right? Because we said it's 8192, or we said the priorities are 8292, and we said the other one should be what? It was 81 plus 100. Yeah, 8292. And the other one should be 8392. Is that what we said? Said the other one was 8292 and 8392. That's correct. 8392. So we could create priorities a little bit higher than that. But what about these guys? What if they had priorities? Let's check out what their priorities are, right? Because they might become the root bridge too, and we don't want that. We don't want our access layer switches to become root bridge. That's why Cisco created the 3-tier model, right? The core layer, the distribution layer, and the access layer, right? So let's see what these two priorities are. I know I'm kind of getting a little off topic, not really off topic, but a little, off track here. But let me just see what their priorities are real quick. Show span VLAN 100. See, he's 82. No, my bad. He's 32,868. So not only do we have to want for 100, we would have to create one higher than 8192, but we also have to create one lower than this number right here, 32868. Yeah, we would have to create one higher than that. So, I mean, lower than that rather, to make him the root bridge. So I'm gonna just use the secondary keyword. That's why I like to use that one. So let's just do that. Show spanning tree VLAN 100 root secondary. I'm gonna do the same thing for VLAN 200. And let's see what my priorities are for these guys now. Show span VLAN 100. So now what is the way to find out who the backup is? Who knows? But with the fact that this number right here, this lets us know that see, that number is higher than this to make him the root bridge, but it's also lower than these guys', right? Because they're like 3268, 32768, right? So he's in between. So if this guy right here dies, yeah, I know I'm supposed to do it in red, right? If this guy right here dies, then we know that this guy will become the backup root bridge, right? So that's why he has that ugly crown right there. So, Joe said to set the priority a little higher. Yes, you're right. That's correct. You're gonna make him Scottie Pippen to Jordan. Yes, you're right. You're gonna make him a Scottie Pippen to Jordan, man. What is your motivation to start? Kino, you talking to me or somebody else? But my motivation to start, that's a good question, man. Because today, I was sitting here trying to read chapter 1 of the damn CCNP book, and I just was like, falling asleep. And I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have to stream in about an hour or two, man. Whatever. I'm reading, and then my alarm goes off. Yes, my alarm goes off. So, and I just was like, you know what? I promised these guys that I was gonna be labbing. I'm gonna go hardcore. And plus, I have the damn banner on the schedule on the banner of this of my YouTube channel. So I said I need to stay to my word, stay true to my word. So that's one way to kind of keep me motivated. Plus my unborn son, he keeps me motivated as well. So what else? He said change it to 16,384. Joel picked a good way to set the backup. Notice what he said. He said 8192 times 2. So you just kind of basically took the root bridges priority and multiplied it by 2. Because we know the default is what? 3, 2, 7, 6, 8. By default, that is the priority for root for spanning tree on switches, right? So we know we set this guy to be 8192. So he said to do it 2 times, and that'll give me the number right. He said 16,384, and I could have done it that way, but I just chose the priority of this. That made him just a little bit higher, but it's still lower than what 32768, which is what these guys are. Right? Y'all with me so far? So yeah, let's do the same thing on, let's see, yeah, we made him the root bridge, backup root bridge for both of those VLANs. So he should be good. Let's check the second VLAN. 200, so span VLAN 200, 28872. So he's 28872 for this one. And the other one is 28772. Remember, it is the priority plus the VLAN ID, which gives us the bridge ID. Remember that. Y'all run me with that like button, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in too, man. Because I'm missing the damn Hawks game right now, man. Damn it. I'm over here labbing and shit. Not the Hawks game. Who playing tonight? Suns, man. They face, actually the Clippers are facing elimination, man. I like both teams, man. I've always liked the Clippers for a long time when Chris Paul used to play for them. And then now he plays for the Suns, and he's just one win away from getting to the finals, man. Y'all, I really hope he wins, man. But either team wins, I'm happy for him. So, what were we at? Task 3, right? No, we did task 3, so we're more than halfway done. Good. Task 4, we only got 6 tasks, y'all. We're almost done here. No, I keep saying that. Task 4, configure spanning tree so that it will remain root bridge in the event that another switch is inadvertently configured with a lower priority for VLANs 100 and 200. I think I know this one. I think this function is called spanning tree root guard, if I remember correctly. Spanning tree guard root. I can't remember, but basically, it's the same thing. Let's say we. Y'all know I like to bring my daughter into this. My daughter walks into the data center with her switch. Don't know why she would do that, right? And she just walks in with a switch, and it just happens to have a lower MAC address, right? Because we know we go with the MAC address with the bridge ID, right? And this MAC address is 111.111. I don't know, whatever. It's lower than the rest of these guys, right? As soon as she plugs up to the network, well, guess what? She will become the root bridge for all the VLANs, or at least a couple of the VLANs, depending on how it's set up, how our spanning tree network is set up. So she will become the root bridge. We don't want that to happen. We don't want anybody to just come in all willy-nilly with a switch or whatever the case may be. I know that's a you know, a scenario that will probably never happen. But either way, we don't want another switch to get onto the network and become the root bridge. We don't want that, right? We could cause, you know, maybe a loop to happen, or maybe this switch is an older switch and now all of our traffic goes to this, and it might have a lower backplane and can't handle all of that traffic. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that this guy right here stays the root bridge, right? How do we do that? I believe it's spanning tree guard root, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, though. One thing I like about this book is that if we don't know it, we can check the solution guide. So I'm gonna question mark through this, and I believe it's spanning tree guard root, and I believe it's a whatchamacallit, a global command, spanning tree guard root. I can't even remember. Let's see. I can't even remember. Loop guard? No, it's not a loop guard feature. Do you have to go to an interface and do that? Root guard? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna need some help from y'all. Fat Finger Squad, help me out here. So we're on task 4 out of 6. Again, configure spanning tree so that it will remain root bridge in the event that another switch is inadvertently misconfigured with a lower priority for VLANs 100 and 200. Test and verify your configuration by specifying a priority of 0 for VLAN 100 on any switch other than within the STP network. So let's see. We want to make sure that he stays the root bridge. Somebody just answered. Treg Henry said root guard. Yes. Oh, appreciate that, Joe. He gave me the score, man. Thank you, man. Because like I want to know what the game is, what the score is. So he said Suns 15, Clippers. Okay, so Suns are losing. Good. Okay, well, not good, but either team wins. I'll be happy about that, man. But appreciate the score update, man. And Treg Henry did say, yes, it is root guard. So now I need to remember how to configure root guard. Is it on an interface level command? Or I thought it was a global command. He said it is root guard. So yes, you're right. And do you do that on another switch, or do you do that on that specific switch? Yes, I think you do it on this specific switch. So if I need to make him stay the root guard, stay the root, then, or remain the root, then I need to configure root guard. Is that an interface level command though? That's my question. I can't remember. You would think, oh, you're a CCNA level guy, man. You should know this already, right? Well, no, goddammit, I don't. Spanning tree, root guard, no. Oh, you got to do it by VLAN, right? Let's see, VLAN 100, and then root guard. No, that's the cost and port priority. Guard. Oh, I see what you're saying. Spanning tree, there it goes. Guard, and then root. Set the guard mode to root on the interface. So it's an interface level command. So I believe that's the way you do it. Right? Is this how you do it? Trey Henry said, yes, it is an interface level command. So yes, man, appreciate you guys, man. This is why I fuck with y'all, man. And I knew it was like, I thought it was a global command. So that means basically, what I gotta do here is, we're gonna put some I guess some guards. I don't know how we gonna do this. We're gonna put we got to put guard root on this, guard root on this, and guard root on this, right? That'll make sure that this guy remains the root bridge for all of those VLANs, right? Right? So he gonna have his little crown right here, and that is how we make sure. And this is just by drawing these little annotations and shit, and me asking y'all. That's how I'm gonna start remembering this. I associate these videos and the shit that I'm talking with these commands and these concepts and stuff. That's how I remember them stuff. So and I think this is how we have to set it up so that way if we plug up another switch, or if let's say we change his priority to like you said 0, then because this is root guard for those VLANs, then it'll remain the root. So Trey Henry said on the interface spanning tree root guard. So you said spanning tree root guard. Is it not spanning tree guard root? I'm assuming that's the same thing, what you're saying. Some switches are different. Some it's spanning tree root guard. Oh, okay. Man, see, this is why I fuck with y'all, man. Now that I didn't really know. I knew it was a root. I knew the function was root guard, but the command is different on some iOSs. So y'all gotta remember that. Just like Joel said, on some interfaces, on some switches, it'll be spanning tree root guard, and some of them will be spanning tree guard root. What the fuck was the developers thinking when they created iOS? Why couldn't they just be like, okay, root guard, and then boom, call it root guard instead of guard and then root, and then who knows, man? Who knows? All right, so guard root for that interface, right? So what interface am I in? We did, oh, that's VLAN. That's interface VLAN 100, right? No, that was 107. Good. So we got to do it for 107, 109, and 1011, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's the way we got to do it. Atticus said yes. All right, good. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. All right, so we are on 107, spanning tree, guard, root. Same thing on 109. So now root guard is enabled. We have a little assist log message. Let us know root guard is configured. We got to do the same thing on interface FA 109, right? I'm doing this correct, right? Joel over there laughing like, this dude is killing me, man. Spanning tree. For real, man. Like, these people, man, like, I like iOS. It's fun and stuff like that. I like playing with it and configuring and stuff like that. But they just be doing shit to trip you up. Like they wouldn't know it. When they was programming this stuff, they was like, okay, y'all know they're going to be testing us on this. We're going to be testing these people with the CCNP exam and the CCNA exam. Let's make it on this version. You got to do root guard. And on that version, you got to do guard root. So that way they get tripped up when they get the exams. God damn it. All right, so spanning tree, guard, root on this one. And we got to do the same thing on this interface right here, FA011. Right, so interface FA1011, spanning tree, guard, root. So Treg, let me know what it is. Look at the log telling you you are on the right track. Yes, good. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So so now he is blocking port 101. See, that's the thing about spanning tree, man. It's like set it and forget it. You know it's doing something, and it's doing something right, and that's good. But we enabled root guard on FA011. He is blocking port right here. Interface VLAN 1 went down, probably because he is not the root bridge for VLAN 1. That's probably why. Let's see, because he's blocking that port, right? Let's just check real quick. Show span interface. Sorry, VLAN 1. Oh, he is the root bridge for VLAN 1, but he's blocking all of those ports. That's interesting. That is interesting. Y'all see that? That's crazy. Who knows? Who cares? Because we wasn't worried about that VLAN anyway, right? So yeah, we got all these guys that are blocking root guard. So now he said for us to test it, right? He said create one of these switches with a lower priority. So we're gonna create. Let's do DLS 2. No, actually, let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's do one of these access layer switches. Let's change his priority to VLAN 100. We'll change his priority to 0. Right? That's going to be the priority. So let's go to ALS 2. We're going to say global config mode. We're going to say spanning tree, VLAN 100. And we're going to change the priority to 0. And let's see what happens. Boom. What happens? Block. See that? Isn't that cool? So he said, nah, hell nah. Nah. You can't be no root. Because I am the root bridge. I am the root bridge for VLAN 100. Isn't that a cool feature? That is a cool feature, man. So he's the root bridge for VLAN 100, and then we got a syslog message to let us know. So what happened on here though when we did that? Show span VLAN 100. There. We changed our priority. But its priority is 100. When we changed it to 0, he changed his priority to 100. What is his priority, though? His priority is probably still going to be the same, but he has root guard blocking it. So remember, he has a higher root bridge, right? Or root bridge ID. Show span VLAN 100. And there it is right there. See that? My priority is 8292. So even though he has a higher root bridge, this guy has a lower root bridge. Remember, the lowest root bridge wins, right? Lowest bridge ID. He has a lower bridge ID, but because he has root guard enabled, that is why it's blocking anybody else from becoming a root bridge. We also have a blocked port here, right? It's blocking. Yeah, it's blocking. That's interesting. So this right here, that's why we got that red X there. It is blocking there because of root guard. So that's a pretty cool feature, man. Suns are Clippers caught up. That's interesting, man. So Treg said, yep, ports are blocked per VLAN depending on who is the root. Yes, appreciate that, Treg. So, man, this is why I fuck with y'all, man. All right, so now task number what? 5? We're almost done here. There's only 6 tasks here. Task number 5. Configure the trunk links on DLS2. So we got to go to DLS2, right? This guy right here. DLS2. He said configure the trunk links on switch DLS2 so that they will be disabled automatically in the event that they do not receive BPDUs. That's an interesting one. Configure trunk links. Configure the trunk links. Remember, because these guys are all trunking. So this guy's a trunk, this guy's a trunk, and this guy's a trunk. What's a trunk? They pass all VLANs, right? So VLAN 100 and 200 is going to be going through it, right? We can verify that with what? Show interfaces trunk. We have DLS2, right? Why is 07 not trunking? Interesting. It's a good thing we checked that. We only got 9 and 11 trunking. 9 and 11 trunking. This guy should be trunking also. What's going on with 07? Let's check that real quick. Do show run. Let's do show run interface FA 107. Oh, I don't have any configuration on there. That's why. So this right here is not trunking. What's going on ALS2 on interface? Let's check. Show interfaces. He probably only has one trunk, one port trunking dead. No, he got 7 and 9 trunking. He got, that's ALS2? Yes, ALS2. He got 7 and 9 trunking. And 7 is not trunking on that guy. So let's check DLS2 real quick. Oh, that's ALS1. DLS2 right here. DLS2. What is going on with FA07? Interesting. Let's see. Show interface status real quick. Let's show interface status. DLS2 should have FA0. Let's see if it's even plugged up. Yes, it is. It is up. 07 is connected, but it's not trunking. He has no configuration on him. What is going on? Let's check these ports right here. This port right here and this port right here. Let's check. I'm on DLS2. I know there was no config on that, so I'm already done with that. ALS2 show run interface FA107. He's trunking, but he's not negotiate. That's why he didn't become a trunk. So we need to put those configurations on a DLS2's FA07. Interface FA107. Paste those bad boys. Port should come down and come back up, right? I think. To become a trunk. DLS2's 107. What is going on 107? Is he trunking now? Show interfaces trunk. Am I running into something? Oh, now he's trunking. Okay, good. Now he is trunking. Good to go. Alright, so what he said. Wait, so trunks are simply explained like that. They basically just bypass VLANs, like at the distro level. That's correct. Pete just answered. Yes, trunks carry multiple VLANs as opposed to access mode, which carries only one VLAN. Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth, Pete. Appreciate you for answering that. See, like I said, I won't be able to answer everything in the chat, so we got a lot of smart people in the chat room that can help you out over there, guys. Sick. That makes it so much clearer. Gotcha, man. See, that's why y'all got to fuck with me, man. Because there's a lot of smart people in this chat room that will help you out, and they help me out as well. So, and this is a great learning environment. Y'all know, I call myself the network, bro, but I learn from you guys and vice versa. So it's all about synergy here, right? I learn from y'all, y'all learn from me, and this is how we all learn together, y'all. So even though I'm studying for the CCNP exam and stuff like that, or the CCNP topics and stuff like that, we're all learning together, and I'm gonna bring y'all along with me. So where were we at, man? Shit. Task number 5. Okay, so we did okay, so now all these guys are trunking, like we said. Right? We said this guy's trunking. I don't want to do it in red. So this guy's trunking, this guy's trunking. We can get rid of that red X. So he's trunking as well. So he's trunking, and he's trunking. But they said configure trunk links on switch DLS2 so that they will be disabled automatically in the event they do not receive BPDUs. Y'all remember what BPDUs are, right? It's bridge protocol data units. They're kind of like keep alive messages to make sure that nobody else is the root and stuff like that. Nobody else is, how do I explain this? We also don't want another switch connected to an access port, right? Because that could cause a loop to happen. We want it so that way the port will be disabled automatically in the event that they do not receive BPDUs. So I was going to say we need to turn on Bpdu Guard, but brings the port down if it does receive BPDUs. So I'm a little confused with this one. Y'all help me out with this one. I'm going to read it back again. Configure the trunk links on DLS2. So these interfaces right here, that's a trunk link. This a trunk link, this a trunk link, and that's a trunk link. We want it so that way they will be disabled automatically in the event they do not receive BPDUs. Test and verify your configuration by disabling the default BPDU transmission from one of the upstream switches. I'm a little confused by this one, Paul Browning. Let's see what everybody else in here says. NetworkBruh, what brook are you using for their labs? I know I am late for the party, but I just got up from my nap. It's all good, Treg. Go on the link. There's a link in the description of this video. The book is called 101 Labs, Cisco CCNP. You can get a copy of it from 101labs.net or that link in the description box below. It's authored by this guy named Paul Browning and co-authored by Vtp. Sound like a damn commercial over here, right? Experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. That's why I'm always preaching to you guys. We got to do this shit hands-on for us to really learn it. Yes, we can read all the theory we want, but until we practice this stuff hands-on, that's when we know this stuff will stick to us. But yeah, Joel said it there. It's in the description. And also, the Suns are winning. That's a good look. And they playing in LA. Shit, that's gonna be a tough one, man. But yeah, I'm torn about who I want to win on that matchup right there. So, do y'all get this one? Network engineers, admins work together as a team. That's correct, Joel. That is correct. Same thing at my job, man. Whenever I don't know some stuff, I get some help from my guys, and then vice versa. I cannot pronounce his name either. Yeah, Vtp. Yeah. So here it is right here. In case you don't, you don't have it or whatever. But this is the book that we're labbing from. Great book, man. They also have a CCNA level version of it. So if this is too hard for you or whatever, there's a CCNA level. Or if you want to go back to the fundamentals and stuff like that, there's a CCNA. I did a whole 80-something episodes covering that CCNA version of that book. So, shit, we need to go on. I was knocking out those labs in like less than an hour. I don't want to go to the solution guide for this one, but it looks like I might have to because I'm reading it again, and it's still not clear to me. Configure the trunk links on switch DLS2. We're on DLS2, and we need to do 7, 9, and 11. So let's go to port 7 real quick. Configure terminal interface FA. Maybe that'll jog my memory. 107. right? So right now I'm on this port right here, 107, right? He said configure it so that way they are disabled automatically in the event they do not receive BPDUs. So if he does not receive a BPDU, it should turn off. Interesting. Spanning tree. Bpdu Guard? No, that's what I thought it was. Bpdu filter might be it. Don't send or receive BPDUs on this interface. So configure it so that way, so that they will be disabled automatically in the event they do not receive BPDUs. Now, I'm confused. It's either Bpdu filter or Bpdu Guard. Now, I do this, having to do this a lot at work, Bpdu Guard, because we like a lot of our access ports are set up with Bpdu Guard. What is Bpdu Guard? It's a way for us to block BPDUs being coming on this interface, right? So right there, it even says it. Don't accept BPDUs. What's a BPDU? Bridge Protocol Data Unit. They're like these kind of like I said, hello messages or keep alive messages to make sure that there is, it's a way to safeguard loops from happening at layer 2. Yes, spanning tree is a function of spanning tree. So do we want to do Bpdu filter or Bpdu Guard? Also says here, we could do Guard to change the interface's spanning tree guard mode. Maybe that's it. Guard. Loop Guard. I don't think so. I don't think it's Loop Guard. I believe it's Bpdu filter, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what you guys said. Paul P said, so disabled if they don't receive a BPDU. Yes, that's what confuses me, bro. That's what confuses me. I'll definitely check that out. Where is the woman? Hey, it's all good, man. I don't know, man. We used to have some girls that was in here. There, who else we had here? What was her name? We had a girl in here. There was one in here. Unless you retracted your statement. I don't know. I guess she must have disappeared. Anywho, CCNP Encore and RC is a beast. I know, man. I know. That's why I said I'm going to take my time with this. It's saying all he wants is BPDUs. No other bullshit. Filter. Don't send or receive. Don't send or receive. That's what I thought, bro. Because Bpdu Guard will, in the event we receive a BPDU, we're going to shut it off. And that's how I know that's how I know that this works. He said don't send or receive on this interface. So I believe I agree with Joe. Joe, I fight with you today, man. You've been helping us out for sure and making sure we get our answers correctly. So I think you're right. Bpdu filter. Now I could go back in the solution of this guide to see what the answers are, and I'll probably do that at the end of this lab. But I think you're right. It's Bpdu Guard, Bpdu filter, and not Bpdu Guard. So we'll go with that for now. We got to do that on all the interfaces. So in this case, 7, 9, and 11, right? I'm going to do the range command. Like I said, I didn't know that worked. Interface range FAST 107, FAST 109, and FAST 111. Spanning tree. We said Bpdu filter. Oh, what else we need to do? Disable or enable? Enable. So we need to enable it that way. Oh, wait a minute. Disable filtering? Huh, that's a tricky one. What's the task again? I'm going to read it back to you, Joel. Task 5. Configure the trunk links on switch DLS2 so that they will be disabled automatically in the event they do not receive a BPDU. They do not receive BPDUs. Test and verify your configuration by disabling default BPDU transmission from one of the upstream switches. So I guess what I could do is, if I enable Bpdu filter on this interface right here, I disable Bpdu filter on this switch right here, or enable, see how like contradictory it sounds? If we enable Bpdu filter on this, then what I want to do is test it by, he said what? Disabling a default Bpdu transmission. So Bpdus are probably coming across this interface right here. They're going up this interface right here from one of the upstream switches, is what he said. So this switch right here is sending Bpdus that way. Float on a track like a Segway, right? And then once he does not receive a Bpdu, he said to shut this interface down. That's what he said, right? That trunk right there, rather. So enable Bpdu filter. We did it on all three interfaces now, right? 7, 9, and 11. How can we verify that? Well, we could do show run and then the interface, right? Show run and then interface FA107, right? And we got it right there. Bpdu filter enable, right? Another way to verify that is what? Show span, what is it? Summary or Bpdu? Block ports, bridge, detailed, inconsistent ports. Summary. How can we verify what Bpdu and stuff are being blocked? Right there. Summary. Bpdu Guard. That's port fast. That's port fast. That don't tell you about Bpdu Guard, Bpdu filter. Oh, but that's the default. So let's see. Either way, we need to test it. Go to ALS2. We'll go to ALS2's 107. We're going to go to that interface. We're going to go to this interface right here. ALS2, which is here. Global config mode. Interface FA10, what I said? 107. Spanning tree Bpdu. Let's see. Test and verify your configuration by disabling default Bpdu transmission. So I think you got to do Bpdu filter there, right? Enable. Not Bpdu Guard. I don't know. Let me see what y'all said. And now I'm gonna look at I'm gonna have to resort to the solution guide on this one. I mean, what's the verbiage? I'm gonna read it again, all right? Task 5. It's all good though. Configure the trunk links on switch DLS2 so that they will be disabled automatically in the event they do not receive Bpdus. Test and verify your configuration by disabling default Bpdu transmission from one of the upstream switches. That confuses the hell out of me, man. I don't know about you. Bpdu filter is used when you use port fast. Okay, so are you saying that I need to turn on port fast on this right here? On this right here? Because basically what we did was we turned on Bpdu filter right here. We turned on Bpdu filter. Bpdu filter. Y'all run me that like button, man. And then he said we need to test it. So now we're going to be filtering Bpdus. If we don't receive a Bpdu here, he said shut that interface down. And that's what supposedly Bpdu filter is going to do, right? So right now, I'm assuming, I think that Bpdus are being sent across this link right here, right? So they're being sent across this link right here, going that way, right? Put some arrows there, right? So Bpdus are being sent, and in case the Bpdus stop, then that interface should turn off, right? How do we do that? I'm going to look at the solution guide and see exactly what he says. Joel said, when you enable port fast on the switch, spanning tree places the ports in the forwarding state immediately. Yes, that I understand. instead of going through the listening, learning, and forwarding states. Yes, that I understand as well. But he didn't mention anything about port fast. So I understand that concept. I'm going to look in the solution guide. That's what I love about this book. In case you don't know or you get stuck. And I guess we made it to task 5 before I got stuck out of 6. So that's not bad. 83%, right? This isn't port fast because port fast is for connecting to an end user client's devices. Exactly, Pete and Joel. I agree with both of y'all guys there. I don't think it's port fast. I don't think it has anything to do with port fast. So let's see in the guide what he did for task 5. Hopefully you guys got the book and then you'll know. We did get the guard route correct. We did that correctly. We checked it with the guard changing the priority. So to do task 5, it is guard loop. Okay, so task 5. And this is the answer here, y'all. So this task requires the configuration of loop guard on switch DLS2. The loop guard detects root ports and block ports and ensures they continue to receive BPDUs. When enabled, should one of these ports stop receiving BPDUs, it is moved into a loop inconsistent state. So the feature we needed was loop guard. And not Bpdu filter. Let's see. And then, okay. And then what we needed to do was test it by filtering BPDUs from one of the connected switches as follows. Then you do the Bpdu filter on another switch. So I was about to do Bpdu filter on both switches. So what we needed to do was put this switch on loop guard. So I need to review that function tonight. I need to do some extra reading. And if you guys are still up, maybe once the stream is over, if you don't know about this feature too much, then we need to do a review on loop guard. So we need to turn on loop guard for this interface, and this interface, right? And then, because BPDUs are being sent to those ports right now, right? As we speak, and we can check. There's a BPDU being sent there. There's a BPDU being sent over here, right? And I think we could check with what? Show spanning tree summary? I don't remember. And then what we do is we got to stop BPDUs from happening, being sent by turning on Bpdu filter. So we were on the right track with the Bpdu filter, but that needed to be done on the other switch that is sending BPDUs to DLS2. So this guy is sending a BPDU, this guy is sending a BPDU, and this guy is sending a BPDU. One of those guys need to have Bpdu filter enabled, and then this guy just needed loop guard enabled. So I need to do more reading on loop guard and how it works and stuff like that. So Joe said, loop guard checks if a root port or an alternate root port receives BPDUs. If the port is receiving BPDUs, loop guard puts the port into an inconsistent state until it starts receiving BPDUs again. Okay, yes, exactly. Had to go to the Cisco to get the answer. Man, I'm thinking, damn, this dude's smart as hell, man. No, you looked it up, man, but it's all good because I had to look it up too. So I didn't know. I heard about. I remember loop guard from back when I was studying for the stuff, but a lot of the stuff we forget. So I definitely need to do a review on loop guard and how it works and stuff like that. So exactly what you just said. It checks if a root port or an alternate port receives BPDUs. If the port is receiving BPDUs, loop guard puts it. If it's not receiving BPDUs. So I think you're missing the word not right there. If the port is not receiving BPDUs, loop guard puts the port into an inconsistent state until it starts receiving BPDUs again. So, and chat page 66 encore for that. Yes. Exactly. So you said you're trying to say it's not a Bpdu filter. Philip Scott said, "Is this a UDLD thing?" Good question, man. UDLD is shit. What the hell is that? It is more for fiber cables. Unilateral loop detection is what it stands for, if I remember correctly. It's a way for us to make sure loops that are not happening, but it's more for like fiber cables that has one transmitting cable and one receiving cable. If one of these go down, then UDLD puts it into a disabled state. So no, but it's a little similar to that. Philip, it's a little similar to that, but no, this is not UDLD. UDLD is more for I mean, you could use it with copper cable as well, but yeah, like I said, UDLD is more of a fiber cable feature. Joe said, "Hey man, that is part of the job. You have to look stuff up." That is correct, Joe. That is correct. Don't be ashamed of that, man. If, like, I remember there's some stuff that I couldn't figure out, I just had to Google the shit. Matter of fact, the last stream, there was an issue we ran into, and we come to later on find out it was an iOS bug. Well, how do we figure that out? We Googled the shit, man. So that is part of your job. Like I said, it's a very underrated skill to have, to be able to look for information or Google stuff. You have to do that at your job, man. Don't be ashamed of doing it. So Joe said it's not fiber. So yes, yeah, you can't remember everything, man. Unidirectional link. Yes, it is. It's actually unidirectional link detection, loop detection, I believe, right? Unidirectional loop detection, link. Let's see, I can't even remember. Yeah, unidirectional link detection. So, but yeah, similar to that topic, but this is more of a spanning tree concept. So let me get on with the show. What we said: DLS1 needs Bpdu filter, and DLS2 needs loop guard. So let's go back to the range command of DLS2, which is this right here. We said FAST 1011, FAST 109, and 7. And we said no Bpdu, no spanning tree Bpdu filter. What we needed was spanning tree loop guard, right? Where is it? How you do that? Guard, and there go that other confusing thing. It's guard loop. So this is the feature we needed for this, right? So now we're gonna enable loop guard on this interface here, this interface here, this interface here, and this interface here, and then we're gonna do Bpdu filter. So we're gonna stop a Bpdu from coming across over here, and then hopefully that sends FA011 into a looping consistent state. So guard loop, right? And then how we verify that? Show span tree summary. Show span summary. That's how we can check. So we set some of the interfaces by default. I mean, we set some of the interfaces to loop guard, but this lets you know if loop guard is on by default. So I guess we could just set all of the interfaces by default on loop guard. So we can do that. Yeah, link detection, my bad. We're almost done here, y'all. Let's do this. So we set those. How else can we check? There's another show command here to do that. Show span. What is it? Not inconsistent ports. Detail. Show span detail. There goes the Bpdus. That's how we know they're being sent. All right, let's go ahead and turn off Bpdu. Do Bpdu filter on DLS1. we're going to do it by default, right? So here we go. We got some root guard stuff turning on here. Block some ports. We got all kind of shit going on here. Let's do a show span root or show span. Let's just do show spanning tree real quick. What are we blocking? Are we blocking all? No, we're just blocking VLAN 100 and 1. So let's go ahead and let's make him not the root anymore for VLAN 100, so we can turn that off, right? So ALS2, because right now he's not the root bridge. Well, he's still a root bridge for VLAN 100, but VLAN 100 is being blocked right now. So he's being blocked right now. Root inconsistent, see? So we need to turn that off. And when I think root inconsistent lets us know we have 2 possible root bridges or whatever. Is that what that is? I don't know, but we need to make sure that he's not a root anymore. Well, not a root, but we need to turn that off, that priority. ALS2, where's ALS2? We're almost done, y'all. We're almost done. I know we're on task 5 out of 6. Let me get out of this real quick. Spanning tree, VLAN 100, priority. Let's just put it back to where it was, which was 32768. 768. Right? And then that should change DLS1. What's going on with the spanning tree for VLAN 100 there? He's still on inconsistent and he's blocking. There it is right there. Now it fixed it. Unblocked. Root guard's unblocking. So now we check 100. Listening. Check it again. He's still listening. Check it again. Learning and listening. And he's still learning. Check it again. What version of iOS are you running on that switch? I believe I'm running 15.1.2 or something like that. 15.2. I'll check again. Learning. And now we are forwarding on all ports. Good. Show version. We are running version 15.02. SC11. Good question, Joe. What else we need here? We needed to do DLS1. We needed to stop a Bpdu from occurring here, right? So we got this Bpdu that's being sent. We need to go on this port and to stop Bpdus from happening and see if loop guard kicks in. We want to see if loop guard right here kicks in because of that, right? So we're going to go to FA011, interface FA1011, and we're going to say spanning tree, Bpdu filter that stops Bpdus from being sent. Enable, we got to do enable. Enable, and now if we check root DLS2, where's he at? Where is he at? I definitely need to play with spanning tree a lot more, man. As y'all can see, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's a weakness of mine, but I definitely need to get that concept. There it is right there. Loop guard just kicked in. Beautiful. So what we did, remember, we checked, what was that interface? FA011. We had 732 being sent and received on that port. Port number 13 for VLAN 100. So, and it is root forwarding. We checked that again, detail for what interface was that? So spanning tree interface FA01011 detail. I love that command right there. Give us more information. And notice it says here for 1011, well, these interfaces right here, in loop inconsistent state right there. Boom, boom. And that one is designated forwarding because we didn't touch that. But as you can see, sent and received 352, 1280. We check it again. 352, 1280. Why is that? BPDUs are no longer being sent and received on this port right here. Boom. So loop guard definitely kicked in. That worked interesting. Can't lie, I'm a little bit confused. It's all good, dude. Are these switches emulated? Adequate. Good question. No, these are physical switches. I'm using 3750 version 2 PoE 24 port switches. Kelvin said more UDLD. Nah, not UDLD. We're actually going over, we just finished some VTP. We played a little bit with a dynamic trunking protocol. We're kind of messing with spanning trees, specifically Bpdu filter, loop guard, and what else did we do here? Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Me too. I'm lost with all this spanning tree stuff. Hey, dude, it's all good, man. We just have to, like I said, spanning tree is one of those protocols that you kind of like set and forget. It's kind of like, I don't remember which CBT Nuggets professor said this, but he was like, spanning tree is kind of like the microwave, man. You know, you don't know how the fucking microwave works. You just know it heats up your fucking food, man. You just know it heats up the food. We don't know about the molecules and the radioactive, you know, and what gigahertz it operates on and all that shit, right? We just know that it heats up our food. We set it, we just press the buttons, and it heats up our food. We need to understand this stuff at a deeper level for us to understand spanning tree. So, and like I said, I don't deal with spanning tree a lot at work. It's almost like set it and forget it. Make sure that we elect a root bridge, and actually you don't even have to do that. You could just plug up switches and it'll determine who should be the root bridge by itself. It'll be done automatically. But for us to understand it at a deeper level, at a CCNP level, we definitely have to, you know, get a little deeper with all of these functions and all the features of spanning tree and stuff like that. So one way to practice it is by setting priorities for these links right here. Like, let's say we set this priority to be like 19 or whatever, and then that is like, I don't know, 4. Figure out who's going to be blocking, who's going to be the root bridge, etc., etc. That is one way to practice it. That's what I remembered. I forgot which video I saw that from, but it was like, there's ways to practice spanning tree to figure out who's going to be the root bridge, who is going to be the alternate port, etc., etc., etc. So I need to copy and paste this over again because I went too far. I've been drawing too much on this shit right here. We're almost done here. We're task 6 here, right? Because we came up with a loop inconsistent state like we said we were going to, and that's how we tested it. All right. Let's see. Where we at? Task number... That was task 5. We made it a loop inconsistent state. Task 6. Final task here, man. That's crazy, right? Remember these labs used to take us just like 1 hour and we're done? Now we're like taking up to 2 hours because these are much deeper subjects, and some of this stuff I've been needing y'all help from for it. He said Chris got another brother. What? Interesting. Here we go. All right, so what was the last one? Task 6. Ports 1, FA101 through 5 on ALS 1 and 2 will be connected to hosts in the future. So we got to post a port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4, port 5. Same thing on this guy, port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll be connected to hosts in the future. These hosts will reside in VLAN 100. Okay? So these guys will be in VLAN 100. VLAN 100. Using only 2 commands, performing the following activities on these ports. So we know we could do the interface range command, right? So we need to go through ALS 1 and 2, right? He said ALS 1 and 2? Yes. So ALS 1, we can do the interface range command, range, FAST 10. Remember, your interfaces might be different. 101 through 5, right? Is what he said? 1 through 5? Yes, ports 1 through 5. Using only 2 commands. That means we're almost done here. Perform the following activities on these ports. Assign all of these individual ports to VLAN 100. That's what? Switch port access VLAN 100, right? Configure the ports as static access port. So we can do switch port mode access or switch port access. Enable port fast for all the ports. That should be easy. And then disable bundling, i.e. ether channel for these ports. Disable bundling. Now that's the one I can't figure out. I'm not too sure. I don't think I understand that one. So I'm gonna read this back to y'all, right? Ports 1 through 5 are going to be in VLAN 100, right? We know that's going to be switch port access VLAN 100. Configure them to be static access ports. That really needs to be switch port mode access. But once we do access VLAN, that should put it in static access, right? Enable port fast for all of the ports. So spanning tree port fast, which is the function that Joel mentioned earlier in the stream. Now this last one I don't understand. I might need y'all help for this one. Disable bundling, i.e. ether channel for these ports. Y'all know what ether channel is, right? That's like when you got a link here and then this link right here. You can put both of those guys to become one logical link, even though they're two separate cables. You can create them to be one port channel. He said to disable that feature. How do we do that? I don't know how to do that. Y'all let me know. So I know with this, we definitely got to do spanning tree. Let's see what they are on right now. So interface FA-ST101 switch port. Right? We do that. We'll see. Right now, it is in dynamic auto. We want that to be static access. So he is on switch port, and switch port is enabled, but he is on dynamic auto. We want that to be static access, right? The way we do that is with switch port mode access, but he said using only 2 commands. So we know interface range FAST101 through 5 switch port access VLAN 100, right? And then let's do a show interface FAST10 105. Let's do 101 real quick. Switch port, my bad. Switch port at the key at the end. Switch port. We do that, and it did not change him to dynamic auto, but it did put him in VLAN 100, right? Because remember, initially he was in VLAN 1. So he said doing only 2 commands. That is a tricky one. That's tricky. How do you do that? Can you just do that on one line? Let me see. It's true. You do set and forget. Yeah. You should download Microsoft Whiteboard instead of using Paint. Just a suggestion. Microsoft Whiteboard. Is that free? Let me know. Because if it's for free, it's for me. Interface range. Is port channel enabled? It is not. You would have to manually do that. The solution is interesting. Also, Pete already took a peek. Pete took a peek at the solution. But that is interesting. Unless you can do that in one line. So let's do that. Let's see. Switch port. Access. VLAN. 100. And we do switch port access. You can do switch port access VLAN dynamic. Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. But if we do switch port mode access, that'll make him a static access port. But he said in 2 commands. That's tricky. That's tricky. I didn't know this one. Because I know you got to do switch port mode access. Right? Once we do that and do a show interface FA-ST101 switch port, that makes him a static access. But that makes me go over my 2 commands. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Pete said disabling ether channel would be something like channel group _ in the range command. But yeah, this says use a specific command. Ah, interesting. I'm glad you're not giving us the spoiler alert there. Might be a trick question too. Maybe some of the stuff is already enabled or disabled as it needs to be. That's a good tip too. I think in Nexus switches, you can use a semicolon to add new lines. Yes, in Nexus, man, you can do all kind of like tricky stuff, man. That's so true. I mean, add commands on the same line. Yes, that's true. That is true. So, like, you can do, like, you don't have to even do add the do command to do certain show commands. You can run any show command in any mode you're in. You can be in user exec mode. You can be in privileged exec mode. That's the tricky thing about Nexus OS. So, or the cool thing about Nexus OS, rather. This is a tricky one, y'all. This is a tricky one, y'all. I might have to go to the solution for this one as well. But at least I did get the first 4 that I knew off the top of my head, right? The last 2 are very tricky. He said using 2 commands. So, well, we know we need to get rid of this because that's not necessarily cheating. It did put it in static access mode, but that's not what he asked for. He said using only 2 commands. So, let me see. What were the things again? There's 4 things that we got to do using 2 commands. Assign all of these individual ports in the VLAN 100. There's only one way I know how to do that. Switch port. Let me do this. I'm gonna question mark my way through this and see how we can do this. Switch port access VLAN. Yeah, 100. But then you can't do anything else after that. I can't say become an access port, mode access, or anything like that. Switch port, mode access, and then mode access. Nope, that's going to put it as that. And then I also said I wanted to do spanning tree, and then port fast, disable port fast for this interface. I don't want to do that. Or I can do trunk. Enable port fast on the interface, even in trunk mode. Didn't know you can do that. Actually, I think I remember knowing you can do that. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know this one. Unless y'all know. And thank you, Pete, for not giving us a spoiler alert there. But he said in 2 commands, put it in VLAN 100, make it a static access port, turn off Ether channel, or disable Ether channel, disable bundling, and also, what was the other thing to do? Enable port fast, static access port, VLAN 100, and disable bundling. How do you do that in just 2 commands? That's crazy. Do switch port. Let's try that, I guess. You're saying do switch port, and then you're not saying that, right? You're saying switch port. I did that. See? I don't understand what you're saying. Joe said root port. No. I'm confused, y'all. Y'all confusing me. Let me know, but he said we had to do those 4 things using 2 commands. I'm going to read it back again. 2 commands. Assign all the ports to VLAN 100. Configure the ports as static access ports. Enable port fast for all the ports. And then disable bundling, i.e. Ether channel. And if y'all don't know, you do all those 4 things using 2 commands. I don't know. He said the answer is in there. Is there? Oh, let's see. Protected? It's not protected. Is it? No, it's not protected. Spanning, switch port. Disable. How do you do all of that, man? I gotta put it in VLAN 1. Oh, using 2 commands. So, okay. So one of them, I'm assuming the spanning tree VLAN 100 I have to do. That's one of the commands. So, switch port, switch port, access VLAN 100. Let's see. Let's try this real quick. Mode. That's no, it ain't gonna be any of these. Switch port. Switch port host. He said that question mark has it. Okay, so Pete is steering us in the right direction here. So it's definitely the switch port command. So I guess I was right about that. But I don't know how can we do this in just two. Is it host? It's not. It ain't gonna be a host. Switch port host, and then Joel said a switch port host, and then switch port access. Okay, so if I do host, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm assuming if I do host, then that puts it in static access, and it'll also put it in port fast. And then I'm going to need one more command to put it in VLAN 100. Oh, and I believe that also disables bundling. That makes sense. Okay, so switch port host. Look at that. Switch port mode will be set to access. Port fast will be enabled, and channel pre. This is why I fuck with y'all, man. This is why I fuck with y'all. See, I didn't know. I seen that command, but I didn't really know. Like, I figured it's a way to put you saying that you're gonna make this port you're gonna put a host to it. So you're gonna connect a PC to this port, right? But I didn't know it specifically does all of those three things. That is very good. Food for thought. Y'all do the dishes, man. So with that one command, it does all of these three things. Now we could add that fourth thing, which is switch port mode, switch port access VLAN 100. So Joel, I want to know. I know Pete looked it up because he has the book. He looked it up. Joel, did you know this command, Joel? Joel, did you know this command? Switch port host. Like, I heard about that host, but I mean that command. And I figured, okay, you're gonna connect a PC to this port, but what does it actually do? Now I know. It sets it to static access. It turns on port fast, and it also turns off channel group. So you can't make this interface a port channel because we're saying we're gonna connect a host to it. So good to know. Very good to know. And in case you guys like any newbies in here, I'll explain all of that. Joe said, I don't use that command. I always do it the long way. I don't use that command either, as y'all know. And also, do I do it the long way? Let me see. Yeah, switch port mode access, I would have just done, which is the long way. Spanning tree port fast, I would have done, do it the long way. And I typically wouldn't, if I have a host like port, I only set my uplinks, so like my trunk ports, to be in port channels. So I don't necessarily worry about having to make a host port, like turning off channel group or port channels on it. So these two I knew I do normally do manually at work. So that is good to know. So for anybody that's new in here, basically what this switch port host command does, it turns on three things, right? It makes it a static access port. What does that mean? That means we're going to connect a PC to it, or in this case, this ugly laptop right here, right? Right? That's what it's saying. We're going to connect, it's an access port. It's basically anything on the access layer. We're not going to connect another switch to it. We're not going to connect another router to it. We're going to connect end devices to it. That's what that is. That's what we're saying with that, right? This port fast mode is what Joel mentioned earlier. We're going to skip the listening and learning and all of that stuff. It's just going to go automatically to forwarding. So essentially, it turns off spanning tree for that port. That's what port fast does, right? So it enables forwarding on this port immediately. That's what that does, right? And then finally, channel group will be disabled. That means it stops bundling from happening. You can't bundle this port into another port channel. What's a port channel? When we have a physical cable, like we have one cable like this, right? We got this one cable right here. Then we have we'll do this other one. We have one physical cable right here. Then we have another physical cable right here. Well, we can put both of these guys into one, what's called a port channel. So it makes these two cables logically into one link, and we call it a port channel. Well, we don't want to do that with our access ports because we know we're just going to connect PCs to them. We're not going to bundle them into another port or whatever. Maybe we had a server, we can do that, but if we want to turn off port channel, disable it, that is how we do it. Switch port host. So we got to do the same thing on this side, and we're finally calling it a night. But that is food for thought for y'all, and at least for me, because like I said, I've seen that command, but I didn't know exactly what it does, and this is why I love labbing. So ALS2, go to global config mode, interface range, FAST 101 through 5. So basically, we're going to do the same thing on these 5 ports right here. I know y'all don't see them there. Look like a goddamn spider or something. We said switch port host, and that sets the port to access. Port fast and channel group will be disabled. And we also want to do switch port access VLAN 100. And then if we do, we can just check one port, right? We do show interface FAST 101 switch port, and now we can see that we made it a static access port. It's in VLAN 100. What else did we do here? It doesn't tell us whether channel group is enabled or disabled here. It does not tell us that. But it does let us know that it's an access port in VLAN 100. And port fast, we'd have to check port fast by doing show spanning tree port fast. Show spanning tree, summary? To see which ones are enabled or not. Port fast is not enabled by default. But a way to check which ports have that, show span, not port fast, show span VLAN 100. We need to see who has port fast enabled. Is it summary, show span root? I can't remember. Who has port fast enabled? Show span, instead of just doing a show run. I know like we could do that. But Kelvin said, well, it would just be no channel group. And yes, Microsoft Whiteboard is free. Good to know. What he said, I haven't heard about this since early study of CCNA. This is dope though. Yeah, man, that's what's up. So there must be a channel group disable command too. No, there isn't. Just like what Kelvin said, there would just be no channel group. That basically removes the port channel or removes an interface from a port channel. So we said, if I had to guess at what they're doing, they're probably just applying a regex to the interface config and removing anything that matches. I believe so. I'm not too sure what you mean by regex. What's that? Is that like a macro or something? Let me know, because y'all know Kelvin's he's really deep into these studies and he really knows his stuff. But if you could explain that to us. Bought the book. Which lab is that? Treg, this is lab number 2, bro. We just getting started with this book, bro. And like I said, I might not be labbing consistently because, like I said, these labs are a lot longer, a lot harder, and the topology is a lot different. And yeah, they're saying, well, I ain't gonna be running through this shit like I did with the CCNA ones. But yeah, lab number 2. What other command, I guess let's say a final pop quiz. What other command can I verify which ports have port fast as enabled other than show run? So like I could do show run interface FAST 101, right? That lets me know port fast is enabled there, right? But, and we do the same thing with 102. So it doesn't say switch port host there. It just puts it in the VLAN, static access, and port fast. That's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know about that host command, man. Switch port host. How do I see which ports have port fast enabled other than this? Show spanning tree. What other spanning tree commands could we look it up under? Detail, bridge, I believe, not root, not necessarily. That coding stuff. Regular expression. It's a way to do complex text matching. Okay. That's coding stuff. Not necessarily. Also, I know what it is. I use the term. Show interface status? No, show interface status ain't gonna let us know about who has port fast enabled is what I wanted to see. Show interface status. Nah, that ain't gonna have it because I do that a lot at work. Let me see. Yeah, port fast. Another command that lets us know. There's another spanning tree command that I know lets us know which ports have port fast enabled. Is it show spanning tree summary? It's not summary. This lets you know if port fast is enabled by default, but it's not. We did it individually on ports 1 through 5. Let's see. So spanning tree VLAN 100 detail. I think that's one way to do it. No, we're pretty much done here. I just wanted one more command to let me know this is enough popcorn for tonight. It's all good, man. Hey, this stuff is tricky stuff, man. But I'm trying to figure out another. Yeah, we about to wrap it up anyway, though. Another show command to let us know. Show spanning tree port fast. No. What's another way to check? Spanning tree root? No, that's not it either. Show spanning tree. I need another show command that's going to let me know it wasn't detail, it wasn't bridge. Just wanted one more. There's one more way we can check to see who has port fast enabled. Show spanning tree interface. Okay. Interface FA 101. No spanning tree info for it. Oh, that's because I'm on the ALS switch. Interesting. That's interesting. Detail? You do detail that way? Detail? There's none at all. Show VLAN. Dude, I'm sure I got the VLANs on here, right? Show VLAN. We did all the VLANs on here. VLAN 100. He said use your question marks more. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. He said show spanning tree interface summary. Show spanning tree summary. Joe, I tried that. Show spanning tree interface summary. No. Yeah, I tried that already, man. FAST and then the interface like that. Show spanning tree summary. I tried that also. Show span summary. That don't let me know. This lets you know again. This one lets you know whether port fast is on by default globally. But I wanted to know where I can see that ports 1 through 5 have port fast enabled. But I don't know. I'll probably do that later on after the stream. But that's pretty much it, man. Y'all run me with that like button. That's it for tonight. Anybody know what the score is for the Suns game? Who's up right now? Honestly, I hope the Suns win it, man. I like the Clippers. The Clippers been my team every year, but man, y'all had y'all chances, man. Y'all had y'all chance last year in the bubble. Chris Paul been in the league for I don't know how many years, man. What, 15, 16 years or something like that? It's his time, man. He need to go to the finals, man. So, what else? Yeah, make sure y'all get y'all a copy of that book so y'all can lab with me, man. I said I'm going to try to stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't been really consistent with it because I wanted to do a little bit more reading, and it's been busy at work and stuff like that. So, Joe said, fair enough. You phrase that as if it were directed to me. Yeah, nah, he wasn't really, he was just saying, yeah, show Suns game. Yeah, he could do that too. This has been really good, and I'll check out the next one. Yeah, so yeah, we typically stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, I haven't been consistent lately, and I've been bragging about how consistent I was, but y'all know these topics are a bit harder. These are larger labs. and using functions that I haven't and features that I haven't really used in a long time, man. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all want to hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Make sure y'all join that Discord server. Here is a link to it. So if I do stream, cancel a stream, or if I do an extra stream on the weekend, you will get a heads up on the Discord server. So there's a link in the chat. Make sure you join the Discord server. If I do stream on the weekends or whatever, or if I cancel the stream, I'll let y'all know in the Discord server and stuff like that. So for now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.